What's going on, guys? This is Badass Reviewer, and today I wanted to do a comparison video of two of the Loki figures that have been released by Toy Biz and Hasbro, and to kind of show the differences between the two and which one I think I like better. And this is kind of something I want to start doing a little bit more, just kind of pass the time between reviews of Marvel Legends and whatever else other videos I make, but we'll see how this works out. I have a couple figures that I want to do, and then I kind of want to do like compilations of different figures from Marvel Legends, like all the Captain America figures, and kind of give comparisons on them as well. But we'll start light, and we'll kind of work our way up to that. But here's the two Loki figures from Marvel Legends. This one being the Toy Biz version, which I think was in series 6. I'm not sure what the series are. I think this came with Onslaught, because I know a lot of villains came from that wave. So I think this is Onslaught, and this one is from the Thor movie wave that never really saw the light of day in most Walmarts because it was a Walmart exclusive. And there is a third one which I like a lot, but I don't really want to compare it because it's kind of its own thing. But this is also a Walmart exclusive. This is the Avengers Loki, which I like quite a bit, but he's not really in scale with the other ones. As you can see, he's significantly shorter, so I don't really want to compare him just because he's not really on the same level, even though he is technically a Marvel Legends. But in terms of comic, we'll stick with this one for now. So we'll take a look at the Toy Biz version first. I really like this one due to sculpting, and he has lots of articulation. He has great articulation. I like the paint work on him. A lot of great things about this guy. The only thing I don't really like about him is his face sculpt. He looks like a really old man that you would see at like a grocery store shopping, and he's just like really angry because they're out of stock of everything they had that he was looking for, and just gets really grumpy. And I don't know, I know that this is from one of the Thor comics. He looked like this. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but I don't know, like I don't think this is exactly how he would look in the comics. Maybe he looked like a really old man. It's just the face sculpt that gets it for me. I just don't like the old look to him. He doesn't look that menacing. He just looks like he's getting ready to kill over. And I'm not too big a fan of the helmet. First off, his helmet has this little turban thing that goes down, and it really impedes articulation. As you can see, I kind of cut that so it could get out of the way. He also comes with a cape that broke because it was I think it was poorly designed how they did it, because it's supposed to peg in sideways, but it broke, so he doesn't wear a cape anymore, which is fine because I don't typically like the big clunky capes that they came with in Toy Biz. So while this guy does have some upsides, I think my biggest problem with him is the head sculpt. But the rest of it's actually really nice. If there was a way that I could just swap heads with this guy with a better looking Loki face, I would actually probably consider this one my favorite. But I'm not saying that this one is bad, and I'm not saying this one is my least favorite, because I'm going to say right now, I like both the Loki figures, but they both have their drawbacks and their pros and cons. So in terms of my comic version, I don't really like to have this guy on my display. Maybe I'll put him on a different display, but I'm not very spacious in my collecting closet, so it's kind of hard to put him in any kind of displays. So, but he's a great figure though. If you can't get this one, which this one's actually pretty hard to get, you can always find this one. He's moderately cheap, I would say, but most of the time you're probably gonna find the kind of weird Loki variant, which I don't think looks very good at all, because they just kind of made the head sculpt look even worse. But that's just my opinion. I don't think it looks good to me. But this one definitely has its drawbacks. I the only real reason I like him is because he looks probably the most menacing and just more like comic, cartoony looking. And that's what I like about Hasbro's figures. They look more cartoony and more like comic book-esque style, if that makes sense. As with Toy Biz, I've always noticed that they always kind of look more realistic and not as comic book looking. And Hasbro has always made them look kind of cartoony and more how they would in the comics. And that's kind of why I like this guy a little bit more. I just like the overall look of him, how he looks. I think it just, when I look at him, it's like, yeah, that definitely looks like Loki. But the drawbacks to this guy is his articulation, because Hasbro, for some reason, just completely forgot how to make a Marvel Legends figure and made probably, I wouldn't say the worst Marvel Legends, but they just really dropped the ball on this guy. This guy should have been really awesome. And while he is a great figure, they completely screwed up the articulation in the hips. Every time you move his leg forward, it goes out weird like this, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I mean, it goes out, but it goes sideways. It really just doesn't make sense what they were thinking when they made this figure and why they thought that was a good idea. Like, if you want him to sit down, he's got to sit crisscross. That doesn't make any sense. So that's its major drawback. But since I have him standing most of the time, it doesn't bother me. But I just like the way he looks. I just like, this just is how I imagine my Loki looking, or that's just the way I like him to look. He's got the cool little fur thing on his back. I don't know, it's like a cape but not a coat. I don't know. I think the face sculpt is a lot better. It's not much prettier, but I definitely think it's a lot better. He doesn't look like a super old man, but not saying that is a huge step forward. I would say I just personally think this one is better for my displaying purpose, but this one's better for articulation and posing and such. There's not a whole lot you can do with this guy, so that's really unfortunate. But like I said, they both have their drawbacks. If I were to recommend just one of them, I would say get this one. But he's a really hard figure to get, and this one is just as good, but I think it just kind of depends on preference, whether you are bothered by the way he looks. And really, I think I've kind of grown to it, because before I really didn't like him too much, but it gets there, it grows on me. I don't know, it just looks kind of weird in the face, but it's still a great figure. And really, if they were to re-release this figure with a different head sculpt, I would definitely say this is probably my favorite Loki figure. But I'm hoping at some point they'll give us a new one, a more updated version of him, which I know will probably end up being like the good version of Loki or whatever's going on with him from the inversion. So that's probably my guess of what he'll probably be when that comes out. If it ever comes out, we'll have to see. But definitely I would say, if you can't get this one, get the Toy Biz version. And I guess if we wanted to talk about this one for a second, I think this one is probably the better of all three, but he's just too small. This one has good sculpt, good paint apps. He looks fantastic. The only thing he's missing really is an ab crunch, but that's not too big of a deal for me. He's got great articulation everywhere else, but he's just too small, like I said. So that's why I didn't really want to put him into this comparison, because he's not really in scale. The movie figures, I think they put out of scale compared to the other figures, but yeah. So I would definitely say, if you can't get one, get the other. But like I said, it's all preference. If you don't mind his kind of weird looking face, then go for it. Get this one for sure. But I think in terms of a comic book accurate, well, I mean like a cartoony kind of comic book look, definitely go with this one. Even though he's not super cartoony looking, but like I said, I think he just looks better. So enough rambling on. I will end this video now. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll do more videos. I think the next one I plan to do is Miss Marvel, or Moonstone, whoever you want to call her. But if you guys like this, let me know. If not, I probably won't ever do this again. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll talk to you later.